Servant leadership. I have heard these two words, this idea, emphasized everywhere on our campus since the August of 2021 when I first started at TMI. When I wrote this chapel talk at the start of the year, the first sentence someone would see when looking at the front page of our school's website is educating servant leaders since 1893. Father Ben mentions it at least every other chapel. Most faculty emails have that little sign off at the end, and right under the TMI logo, it says that exact string of words. The phrase has been thrown around so much here that I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have almost been desensitized to it. That's not to say it's been completely stripped of all meaning, but more so that I feel people have become indifferent to it. To me, it lacked the proper punch or oomph that a saying so integral to our values as a community should probably have. I know that by the time I finished my sophomore year, the words would go in one ear and out the other. I heard the words, I knew what they meant, but I didn't understand them. This push to have us serve continued into the fall of my junior year. During a special corps formation in late October, Major Claiborne gathered all of the cadets in the chapel to listen to a guest speaker, a representative of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, who had come to tell us about her organization's student fundraising initiative known as the Student Visionaries of the Year program. This program is dedicated to giving high school students an opportunity to lead a team of their friends and family in an effort to raise awareness for the fight against blood cancers. This piqued my interest, and I signed up for pretty much one reason. It looks good on a resume. Now, I've done a lot of community service in my life. In middle school, I spent some time with the Olmos Park Fire Department learning about who they are and what they do. My amazing mother continues to this day to donate her skills as a veterinarian to the Rockport Humane Society, and when I was younger, she would take me with her to help out. I became heavily involved with the Boy Scouts of America, and following the completion of my Eagle Scout project this past summer, have completed well over 100 hours of community service through the organization. I was selected as a member of the BSA's Order of the Arrow and underwent a 3-day ordeal that involved cleaning up campgrounds and focusing on helping others while having nothing to eat except for hard-boiled eggs. Here at TMI, I have been blessed with many service opportunities given to me through the Corps of Cadets, whether it be in participating in our many service learning projects or eventually getting the opportunity to plan a project myself for Alpha Company, taking 20 cadets to cook a meal for the Ronald McDonald House here in San Antonio. However, throughout all of this, I would still say that I was not a servant leader for one reason: intent. All of my past endeavors in service have lacked meaning. There was never really a genuine desire to help others. I had 2 lines of reasoning as to why I was doing these projects. It was either A, because it looks good on a resume, or B, because all of my friends are doing it and I decided to tag along. I was doing all of the right things for all of the wrong reasons. This continued to be true as I started my journey with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I joined the program because it sounded like a fun competition to take part in that would reflect great on myself when applying for college. I organized my team, began hosting meetings, and planning fundraising opportunities. But never once did my motivation spring from a want to help others or the knowledge that the funds we were raising would go to help those in need. During the latter half of the campaign, the team was working on raising awareness and gathering funds during a local market event. Vendors had set up booths in the Bernie Main Plaza, and we were able to get one donated to us for the effort. A friend and I had just finished up setting up our station when we were going over what we were going to say to any passerby, when we were approached by a young woman asking us about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and what we were doing at the fair. After talking to her, we learned that her husband had been diagnosed with leukemia the year prior, and they also had a booth at the market, selling homemade goods to raise money for his treatment. They had been looking for an organization that could offer assistance but hadn't yet found anyone. With the help of our assigned LLS representative, we were able to get them connected to a case specialist. I remember thinking that it actually felt really good, seeing firsthand how the organization was helping people. But the nail in the coffin, the thing that sent me on this journey of discovery, was about to come. As we were wrapping up our conversation, a little kid wearing blue jeans and a collared shirt that was just a little bit too big for him ran up to our table and snatched a peppermint before scurrying off. The woman quickly apologized for him, revealing to us that that was her son. This right here was the defining moment of not only my LLS campaign, but of my life so far. Now, I want to preface this next part by saying I live an extremely fortunate life. I am unbelievably blessed to have my family sitting here in the front row that does everything they can to support me through thick and thin. and I'm fortunate enough to be able to attend this school, TMI Episcopal, which is one of the best academic communities in Texas. However, I do have one major hardship in life. My biological father passed away from cancer when I was just about 3 years old. The only memory I have of him is him lying on the fancy bunk bed we had in the living room, which, unbeknownst to me at the time, was a hospital bed. I have grown up constantly hearing from every person in and around my life about what an amazing person he was. Whenever I mention my last name to someone in my hometown of Rockport, Texas, I always get the same response. "Oh, you're Johnny's kid. Him and I were the best friends, and your daddy was truly one of a kind." My biggest pain is never having had the pleasure of knowing him. When I saw this little kid at the Bernie Market Fair with his dirty blonde hair, deep blue eyes, and devious little smirk, I couldn't help but be reminded of my younger self. I've tried to rewrite this next part over and over and over again to get the point across, but I literally cannot describe how impactful this moment was. Just knowing that there was a minute chance that my small action could have helped this kid not go through the pain of losing a loved one was hands down the most rewarding experience I've ever had in my life. Knowing that he might be able to have that connection, that he would never have to sit and wonder about what his birth father was like, meant the world to me. Emblazoned on our school's website was the phrase, "Educating servant leaders since 1893." And for 3 years, I never really gave any thought to the meaning of the phrase. It's not about the recognition, it's about the impact you make in the lives of others. The realization of the extent of how much my actions could affect others was transformative, to say the least. I understand now that true service comes from empathy. It comes from a genuine desire to make a difference in someone else's life, not just for the sake of a resume. It comes not only for doing the right things, but for the right reasons. I realize that being a servant leader isn't just about leading others, but about leading with heart and purpose, leading with empathy. The lesson here for all of us today is that of empathy. The ability to relate to someone else's situation is so vital in making that choice to serve. Empathy transforms service from a checklist into a calling, and leadership from a duty into a privilege. It reminds us that even the smallest actions can have profound impacts. The work of empathy is finding those moments, like mine, where real human connections take place. It's these moments, these connections, that put meaning behind our actions. What I hope for everyone in this room is that as we move forward in our lives, may we lead with purpose, serve with empathy, and strive to make a difference in the world around us. Thank you.